Ah, a ghost! Monica screamed out in fear and ran to hide behind Vivian, who grabbed Alex's arm tightly. Alex's eyes narrowed. He was also shocked by what he saw. There were white spots on Slayer's face and a large purple birthmark over his left eye. These two colors made his face look terrifying and ugly. "I've scared you," he said sadly when he saw their reactions. He looked forlorn as he grabbed the mask and put it back on his face. "You followed me from Preston University, right?" Alex asked him. He remembered feeling that someone was following him and concluded that it must have been Slayer. "Yes," Slayer nodded sadly. "Employ me, and I gave up all hope. I was ready to jump into the river and commit suicide." "Did Henry save you?" Alex had guessed that this may be the reason that Slayer was working for him. He nodded and continued with his story. "He told me that he could stop people from mocking me. He gave me this mask and told me that if I wear it, I'll be an ordinary person like everyone else and that I'll be able to live a normal life." "Do you think he was lying to you?" Alex asked worriedly, as he looked at Slayer's weird clothes. "At least he stopped me from being mocked by others. I'm much better off now than I was before. I'm satisfied with my life." Slayer looked at Alex and said, "When we need discrimination? I'd never experienced that kind of look before in my life. It felt so good that even though you cut me, I wanted to meet you again. Heidi, you'll find that there are plenty of people who don't judge others by their looks." He continued, "I must say it's very dangerous for you to help Henry do these horrible things. Do you really think that he's trying to help you? Or is he just using you for his own gain? Do you think that he even views you as a human being?" "He feeds me and pays me $800 a month. He respects me for my skills and even calls me Slayer. What makes you think that he isn't trying to help me?" Slayer asked Alex in confusion. "Have you seen the ridiculous clothes that he gave you to wear? And have you forgotten that you helped him at the bar? And he thanked you by hitting you on the head?" Alex looked into Slayer's eyes and said, "Wake up, buddy. He's brainwashed you. He treats you like his dog." "No, that's not true," Slayer said in bewilderment. "He's my savior. I'm not his dog, I'm not." Slayer covered his head with his hands. Episode 125. I'm your friend. "Alright, don't think about it now. Try to calm down." Seeing that Slayer was distraught, Alex held his shoulders and tried to comfort him. Slowly, he started to relax. "Let me ask you a question," Alex said. "Who do you think really sees you as an equal? Henry or me?" Slayer thought about it seriously for a moment and said softly, "You." Good, Alex said, and then he was quiet. He felt that Slayer had made great progress by seeing the truth. "Do you think that what Henry told you to do was right?" he continued. "No, but he's my employer and he saved me. I must do what he says," Slayer replied. Alex said resolutely, "You know that I'm right. You've been completely brainwashed by him. I hope that you can see that now and that you'll stop helping him do these terrible things in the future." He looked at Slayer and asked him, "Slayer, what's your real name?" "My name is Daniel Wiseman. Danny." "Good name," Alex laughed. "You're my friend now, Danny. Let's go out for a few beers sometime." "Friends?" Danny mumbled in a daze. He looked at Alex with a small smile, but he still couldn't believe what he had just said. He asked, "You said I'm your friend?" "Yes, we're friends, of course," Alex said with a smile. Danny lowered his head and wiped away his tears. Friend. How much he'd yearned to have a friend over the years. "A man doesn't cry easily. If you cry again, I'll feel very awkward," Alex said with a smile. "I wasn't crying, Danny replied. He finally had a friend, and he didn't want to make his new friend feel awkward. Danny, if Henry asks you to kill me again, will you do it? No, I won't kill my friends, and I won't let them be bullied either, he answered without hesitation. That's great, buddy. As Alex patted his shoulder, Danny's face broke into a broad smile. It was the first genuine smile of his life. I should go. If Henry can't find me, he'll get angry, he said to Alex. All right, but please remember what I said. Danny could see no pity, no discrimination, and no mockery in Alex's eyes. There was only friendship. He nodded and was about to leave when his gaze shot toward Monica. Monica, go hug Danny, Alex said to her. Vivian pushed her forward, but Monica tried to hide behind her. Alex smiled awkwardly at Danny. He could guess how crushed his friend would feel by the child's reaction, so he walked over to her. He squatted in front of her and said, Monica, Danny saved you. He's your friend, and it'll make him very sad if you're still scared of him. But he's a ghost, she said as she hugged Vivian, obviously still afraid of Danny's face. Alex sighed. Alex got into the car and drove to the police station with Vivian and Monica. They wanted to find out who was behind Monica's abduction and their motive. The officer in charge of their case led them to the interrogation room. Through the window, they saw that the two kidnappers were being questioned by the police. From the solemn expressions and furrowed brows of the two officers, Alex guessed that the interrogation was not going well. 2 hours later, the officers exited the interrogation room. Alex and Vivian had also finished giving their statements, so they approached him. Another said, Commissioner Hargreaves. Another simply greeted him, Boss? This middle-aged man was the police commissioner. He acknowledged his subordinates with a nod. His brows were deeply creased, and he was clearly worried. The commissioner addressed the two officers who had been interviewing the suspects and whispered a few words to them. Finally, he waved his hand and said, Go. They walked reluctantly to the holding cell. When the commissioner saw Alex and the others, he walked over and said, I'm so sorry about this. I want to convict these men, but it's been taken out of my hands. I'm under a lot of pressure from my seniors. Alex and Vivian didn't understand what the commissioner was apologizing about. Then they saw the two suspects smugly walking out from the detention cell. Vivian grabbed Alex's arm and asked in shock, Commissioner, you're not releasing them? The commissioner could only grimace and reiterate, Sorry, it's out of my hands. One of the suspects walked up to Vivian and said brashly, Hey, Miss Carter, we meet again. You wanted to leave, now leave, the commissioner cursed angrily. He was struggling to hold on to his temper with these two thugs. One of the suspects said, Commissioner Hargreaves, you'd better treat us with a bit more respect. If Mr. Granger wants your badge, he only has to say the word to the chief. He was sure that Dale Granger was behind their release. The commissioner could only glare at them and try to suppress his anger. He knew that he couldn't afford to lose his temper with these two suspects. You coward. One of them scoffed arrogantly at the commissioner before shifting his gaze to Monica, who was hiding behind Vivian. With a sinister smile, he said, Little girl, I didn't get to keep you this time, but watch out. I'll definitely be coming for you again. As he spoke, he moved to pinch Monica's cheeks. A figure stood in front of him. When he looked up, he saw Alex's face glaring at him with a stone-cold smile. Although Alex had beaten them before, now that they knew they had Dale Granger's support, they were no longer afraid of him. One of them pointed at Alex and spat out, Get out of my way. Do you know who I work for? If you don't move right now, I guarantee you'll regret it. Alex replied calmly, Really? No, I have no idea who you scum work for. Why don't you tell us? The other suspect said to Alex, I think you must have a death wish. Listen, we work for Mr. Dale Granger. Now are you afraid? I don't know anything about Dale Granger, but from where I'm standing, you're just a couple of scumbags who don't deserve any respect. Alex's eyes showed a trace of coldness. He asked himself, who is Dale Granger? What does he have to do with everything that's been going on? The suspect stood in front of Alex, shouting, "Screw you, you crazy piece of shit. You want to hit me? Go on then." Bam! Alex beat him down to the ground with a punch. "Damn, you really do want to fight," the other suspect said in surprise. Before he could say anything else, Alex's fist landed on his nose, and he instantly joined his friend on the ground. The two suspects pointed at Alex and complained to Hargreaves. "Commissioner Hargreaves, he hit us right under your nose. Quick, arrest him." "Commissioner, you heard them yourself. They asked me to hit them," Alex said innocently. Then he thanked the police officers, said goodbye, and left with Vivian and Monica. Watching them go, the commissioner sighed. He had been under pressure to let the two suspects go. The reason for the order was that they were hoping that they would lead them to capture much bigger fish. Their real goal was to bring down the whole criminal gang that these two lowlives are part of. Alex took a cab home with Vivian and Monica. Vivian cooked dinner and then coaxed Monica to sleep. Alex was sitting on the sofa in the living room when Vivian came out of her daughter's bedroom. He called her over. "Why has someone been coming into your home and assaulting you?" Alex asked gravely. "What?" She looked flustered. "What are you talking about? Who's been coming into my home?" "Vivian, stop lying to me. Today, Monica told me that men sometimes come into your home, drag you into the bedroom, and beat you up." When she heard that he already knew about her situation, Vivian sat down on the sofa dejectedly. "What's going on? Tell me. Maybe I can help you," Alex said gently. "You can't help me, but I will tell you what's going on," she said calmly. "I used to be in a relationship with this great guy. We were very happy. He was well respected by everyone, and he protected me. No one would dare bother me while he was around." She continued, "But then something happened, and he was forced to leave New York. Without his protection, I started to get harassed." "Who is this man? Why did he abandon you?" Alex asked. His first thought was that this must be a scum's. 2 months ago, the society was completely demolished by a guy from one of the city's powerful families. No one from the society was allowed to stay in New York, so my partner had to leave. The Azure Dragon Society. Alex was stunned when he heard this. He and Ken Stokes had been responsible for the extermination of the Azure Dragon Society. He realized that the guy Vivian was talking about, who forced her boyfriend away, was him. He said stupidly, "I heard that the Azure Dragon Society was one of the poisonous tumors of New York. Surely this young guy did a good thing?" "A good thing?" Vivian's eyes were cold as she said angrily, "He forced my man to leave and is therefore personally responsible for my situation. What's so good about that? Why do you think everyone from the Azure Dragon Society must be bad? My partner is a good and honest man." She continued, "After the Azure Dragon Society was destroyed, all the gangs of New York, big and small, rose up again. When my man fled, there was no one to protect me. They come to my house whenever they feel like it under the pretext of collecting protection fees from me. I'm just a woman. I can't do anything to stop them." Vivian's tears were falling to the ground like pearls from a broken necklace.
When it comes to taking care of your acreage, don't mess around. Toro zero-turn mowers cut big yards down to size in less time, so you can spend more time hunting, fishing, or just enjoying the day. Built with comfort-enhancing, productivity-boosting features like My Ride suspension that takes the ache out of acreage, massive rear-drive tires for ultimate traction, and ultra-durable iron-forged cutting decks you can rely on for years to come. Bowl through anything that dares get in your way. Toro. Count on it. Visit Toro.com/zero-turn to find yours.
Episode 126, the mysterious old woman. Alex looked at Vivian, who was crying next to him, and murmured under his breath, "Vivian, I'm so sorry." "What are you apologizing for?" she asked, looking at him with teary eyes. "It's that young rich guy who should be sorry. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in this situation." Hearing this, his heart ached even more. He had ruined the life of someone he liked. He composed himself and asked, "Then who's that Dale Granger that they were talking about at the police station? Do you know him?" "You're only a student. Of course you wouldn't know." Vivian wiped away her tears and told Alex, "After the Azure Dragon Society was destroyed, the various New York gangs battled for superiority. Now the pecking order is starting to become clear, and a gang called Flag Sect runs the city's underworld. Dale Granger is one of their leaders." "Flag Sect," Alex muttered softly. He had already thought of a way to deal with them. Vivian continued, "Flag Sect received a large portion of their resources from the Azure Dragon Society. Along with the resources they already had, they've grown much more powerful than the original Azure Dragon Society. Its leader, Quentin Robbins, appears to be a respectable member of society, and he speaks as eloquently as the mayor himself. I've heard that most of their money is laundered through one of the most famous department stores in New York." Alex listened and thought, "And they're targeting Vivian